Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So without further delaying, let's go into the recipe. So now I have added 2.5 tablespoons of coconut oil, and to that we will be adding garlic, pandan leaf, curry leaf, tomato, onion, chilies and a small piece of ginger with 1/4 teaspoon of fenugreek seed, curry leaves and the pandan leaf is being added to the oil with 2 cloves and 2 cardamom and a small piece of cinnamon. Now you saute it nicely for the spices to release its aroma. It won't take that much, just a little bit. If you stir, that's enough. Now I'm adding the garlic and ginger that is being chopped, but you can add garlic and ginger paste, or if some people prefer to cut them into big cubes and add into halves, you can add. It's approximately around 3 to 4 garlic cloves and then a small piece of ginger. 1 large onion and 1 large tomato would be enough for this. So now I have added the onion after the ginger garlic and I'm sauteing it. You don't have to wait until it becomes brown color. Just if the onions become transparent, then you can start adding the tomatoes to it. This step is done one by one, so that if you add according to these steps, it gives a nice flavor to the curry, because we are making the curry separately and we are making the thakkadi balls separately. So we have to make sure the curry is much tastier, because when we eat it, both the flavors from the curry and the thakkadi gives a wonderful taste. So here in between, I'm stirring once in a while, because if you don't stir, sometime the spices and the ingredients which we have added might get burned from under and it can give a bitter taste. So make sure it doesn't get burned. I have not kept the flame on high. It's low medium heat. So now it's getting cooked. Now it has come to a nice color. Now I'm adding the tomatoes and the chili. And now I close the lid and I let them saute. I sauteed a bit and I let them cook nicely until the tomatoes becomes a little bit mushy. You can add a little bit of salt to it so that the cooking process can be faster if you do that. But here I didn't add. I'm adding the spices. 1 teaspoon chili powder. I think you all can see the chili powder. My video is, I'm not sure if it has been taken properly. It has been put in the side. 1/2 teaspoon turmeric powder, and then to that we'll be adding 2 to 2.5 teaspoon of cumin powder, and then to that we will add around 1/2 teaspoon coriander powder, and then 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of pepper powder. You add all this powder and then you little bit roast with the ingredients which we have added. And once it all comes together, you add the third extract of the coconut milk. So I have taken 1 whole coconut. In that I separated and kept the third, first and the second milk. Now I have pressure cooked the beef bones and I'm adding them directly to the mixture which we made. I just added salt and turmeric powder when I boiled the beef. So now I'm adding rest of the third coconut milk, third extract. That is actually 1 coconut. The color was not enough, so I added more turmeric powder. Now this is a 1/2 lime size tamarind. I have soaked in water and then I'm extracting the juice out of it and adding that to the product, and added salt at last. Now here to make the thakkadi flour, I have used the normal string hopper flour which I bought it from the shop. It is approximately around 2 to 2.5 cups of flour. To this we will be adding 4 tablespoons of grated coconut. I took 1 coconut. From that I have separated 4 tablespoon of grated coconut, and the rest of the coconut I have taken extracted the milk out of it, and the third milk is being put to the curry which we are making, to the beef curry. The second extract and the first extract is still there. So now to this I will be adding a little bit of salt and then mixing it very well. But make sure you don't add more salt, because already for the beef curry also we have added salt. So if there is too much salt in everything, so it will become more salty. So now I am adding the second extract of the coconut milk, and you mix nicely, little by little, add the dough and the coconut milk to the dough, and make a soft and smooth. So now I have put it on fast forward. Here I am adding little by little the coconut milk. Make it very fast. You can use a spoon if you find it a little bit harder to do it with the hand. At first you can use the spoon, and later you can use your hands. Now here my string hopper flour has said you can use normal water, so that's why I'm using the coconut milk directly. But if your string hopper flour has told to add warm water, heat up the coconut milk and pour the warm water and mix and make a dough. So now I take a small piece of it, make a ball out of it, and in the middle I just press and make a hole, not a hole actually, a thumb print. So this is how I made all the rest of the dough. So now here I have done, it didn't take me much time, around 6 to 7 minutes was enough to make this whole batch. These small ones were made by my little daughter. She's 9-year-old. She also wanted to help me, so she was like, Mama, please let me do it. So everything is done now. So now let's get back to the beef curry. Now the beef curry is boiling, and you have to put them, when the beef curry is boiling high, you have to keep the flame to the highest, and then only start adding this Thakkadi which we have made. If you add it when it is slow, or if you add it when it is not, when the stove is not on, what happened it would get dissolved in the beef curry, or sometimes it might break. So when the flame is very high and if you add it, it will nicely cook and it will not break. So you add like that and let it steam for cook for about 10 minutes. Now I have taken a small amount of dough separately and kept, and mix it with some coconut milk, and I keep that aside. This is what I am doing now. I am showing you the same container which we made the dough. I mix and keep. Now this is after 10 minutes. You can see nicely they are not broken. Everything is in perfect shape. Now to this we will be adding the coconut mixture which we made, the coconut and the dough mixture we made. I'm just mixing it around and pouring it on top, and we give a mix and we let it boil for another 5 more minutes. We add this mixture because we wanted to make this Thakkadi a little bit more thicky, or to bring it to a thick consistency. Some people like it very, very thick consistency. If that's so, then you let it reduce some more. I take it in a medium consistency. I like when there is a little bit of more gravy when you're eating the Thakkadi. So now I'm tasting if there is enough of salt, and if it is not enough, you can add more salt in this stage too. So now here I have kept in medium heat. Now the bubbles are starting to come. This is one method of doing it, by adding coconut milk while making the dough, and there is another method by adding the beef curry's gravy to the dough and making Thakkadi. I would include that recipe too in another video. Now it's almost done. Though it looks watery, in a few minutes it will become more thicker. So it's best eaten when it's cooked and finished, and then you leave it to rest for about 10 minutes and then serve and eat. So there was a strange thing what happened when I was cooking this recipe. The thing is, in the last moment there was a power cut in my house, and I couldn't shoot properly. So now here I am adding 1 cup of thick coconut milk. This is the final touch. So once you add this, you don't have to let it to cook. You can just close the lid and rest it for 10 to 15 minutes. Now see, with the power cut I couldn't take a proper picture, but I have tried my best to take a proper picture of it. The color is getting deferred. I'm sorry about that, because as a power cut I couldn't take the photo properly. But again, if I do a Thakkadi recipe in another way, I would upload a good one.